Sirius XM, The Joint. I'm Pat Mckay, and it's always great when a smart person you know is also good looking. So those two things are happening right now because I've got Christian Tavares-Finson on the phone. He is legal counsel for Vybz Kartel. He is one of the leading criminal attorneys in the Caribbean, and it's really an honor to have some time with him. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good. So important developments in Vybz Kartel's case, totally overlooking all those wonderful compliments I just threw your way. Could you tell us about Kartel's situation today?
Well, once again, what has happened is the police indicated that they raided the cell of Mr. Palmer, where they recovered a DVD player, an iPod MP3 player, and 2 cell phones. They indicated through a press release that they had found contraband in his cell. This, they say, was done by way of a search in the furtherance of their investigation as it relates to a popular producer who is known as Roach. The assertion was that their investigation led them to the cell of Mr. Palmer, where they found the item, and they subsequently indicated that persons who are incarcerated have been ordering the killings from in custody, along with other criminal activities such as extortion. We, as such, took some instructions from our client, and we were quite surprised, to say the least, that he indeed furnished us with a document which authorizes him to possess not only the DVD player, but the MP3 player. You have a situation where the police are alleging that they have found contraband in his cell, when in fact he has had authority to possess those items for quite some time.
Documented authority, which they, in fact, the accusing body, is asserting now is illegal.
Absolutely. I'm not entirely certain if they were made aware at the time that he had such authority, but he did indicate that he produced the letter to them. This was on the 15th of September of this year. I understand that the items were given back to him, and the following day the police returned and confiscated them. They also made an assertion that 2 cell phones. You remember sometime in February we had spoken about this, where they were saying that a number of phones were taken from his cell whilst we were preparing our bail application for him.
Right.
Here it is again. The indication is that they have confiscated 2 phones from his cell. Our investigations reveal, and I think that all the records at the prison indicate same, is that these phones were actually taken from a neighboring cell, and the occupant of that cell, the inmate of that cell, has owned up to it and indicated to the police at the time that these phones belong to nobody else but me. So what we have really done is we have referred this matter to the Director of Public Prosecutions. We have referred it to Indicom, which really is our sort of investigative body here who investigates malfeasance on behalf of the police.
On behalf of the police or on behalf of citizenry?
On behalf of the police. These are independent persons who, in essence, will investigate the police.
I see.
Their allegations of malfeasance on behalf of the police.
I see. Because for a moment it sounded as if the police were investigating the police, and that never really works out so well.
Right. Well, that was the position before the formation of this body that is known as Indicom, and those are the persons who investigate the police.
So Indicom is a... Sorry, Christian. We're on the line with Christian Tavares-Finson, attorney from Vybz Kartel, getting a status report on the current situation. So this independent body was created in 2013?
No,
Indicom?
It was created a couple of years ago.
Oh, but it wasn't applied in this case because you weren't really requesting an investigation, is that it?
Well, we activated an investigation.
Right.
We thought it prudent to bring it to their attention. These are the persons who indeed investigate police. And we thought that we should write the various persons in charge of these administrations, such as the Commissioner of Police, and bring it to his attention, because we have the view that here it is, we are preparing not only a bail application, but we are preparing for trial. And there is this press release talking about him being associated with the murder of Roach.
It's just amazing. But in speaking with you, and you've been very kind with your time, because you know Kartel's fan base in North America is quite huge, and that's our main broadcasting footprint is here in North America. And just from our conversations, it seems like there's an established pattern, because we even had a conversation, aside from the cell phone thing, about a witness that didn't exist, had no record of physical existence. And now we're talking about connecting linking Kartel with a murder that happened on the streets. We know he's incarcerated, and the police assertion finding Contraband connected to the case. Very salacious and sensational headline when you see it by itself.
Absolutely, and this is our concern, and we have brought it to the attention of the Director of Public Prosecutions, really with a view for her to investigate it against the background that we feel that this is contempt of court. This man has a matter that is currently on the trial list, which means that you have the potential to prejudice his case, and you make publications like that without understanding or appreciating the evidential value of it, if it is in fact true, and what side effects it could have on his upcoming trial and the fairness of it. And we are of the view that they should be held in contempt of court because it's not fair to him.
They also, they're one body that's accountable, but isn't the journalist or the publication that prints this responsible to get the other side? Did anyone speak with you before these accusations were printed?
No, but what had happened is that there is indeed a wing of the constabulary force that deals with their publication, so it would have come directly from them, as opposed to it being picked up by some news station. It would have been published by the constabulary force.
So they disseminate the information. It's almost like in the entertainment world, a press release. It's just a dissemination of information, but as journalists on the ground, you don't just take a press release and print that. Don't you get the other side? Isn't that what makes it journalism?
Well,
I know this is a separate topic, but I'm just saying, like...
Yes, I agree. But I think that we tend to take these things as gospel when they come from the police force.
Even with a pattern, especially the pattern of the Jamaican constabulary force and the judiciary in relation to the man that we know as the world boss. Like, looking at this case, the pattern is kind of alarming, because then it doesn't become a discussion of guilt or innocence. It becomes a discussion about persecution rather than prosecution and a fair trial. It's beginning to look a little bit weird, Christian, for lack of a better word.
Absolutely. I wouldn't agree with you to say that it's beginning to look a little weird. I would say it's beginning to look very weird.
I was trying to be softer on it.
And that is why we're really seeking to, seek some sort of recourse or redress for him. He has indicated that his intention at some stage is to bring some legal action against them. And, we are exploring this, and we're exploring our options.
Yeah, just so that they know. It won't help him because obviously this pattern has been established, but it could help the next one, or maybe create some reluctancy before they start doing this type of thing. Also, in print, Tom Tavares-Finson, who's your dad, is listed as Kartel's attorney. Can you explain what the legal relationship is with your dad and you and Kartel in this case?
It's one firm, so we work together.
Gotcha.
So, in essence, the firm has been employed to represent him. So he really has a team of lawyers that look out for his best interests.
I got you. He also released a statement himself, Vybz Kartel, or at least there were quote marks put around words. I don't know if they're his. I'm just reading what's online. And it seemed to express some very believable things, that he felt persecuted, that, the constabulary is crooked. It was actually very straightforward. He wasn't mincing words in the statement that I read that was attributed to him. Was that his statement? And what do you think?
Which statement is that you're talking about?
Last week, I think it was a tweet or a series of tweets. I'm not really sure. Doing a daily show, I read a lot. But I do know that he reacted with anger once this information or disinformation or misinformation about him having contraband in his cell was released. He countered that, or at least, that was what I saw online, that he countered.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that would be, but I can say without fear of contradiction that he is very frustrated with the system at this stage. And, it has really left him no option but to believe that there is some form of conspiracy or some sort of asserted effort to keep him in custody.
Do you feel that he's safe in custody?
He's safe in custody. I don't know how to answer that. Well, I guess they know where he is all the time. So as safe as the state can possibly make him, I guess.
Good. Is there a way that we can write to him? Is there an address there? Is he still at the Horizon Adult Correctional Facility?
Right.
Oh, so that would be where we write. I won't get the exact street address from you. I think it's on Spanish Town.
To be honest with you, I'm not sure what the procedure would be to get any document to him.
Right.
I'm not sure.
And I'm sure there's a way to do that, and a rule and a regulation, or 10.
Right. I would hope so in any event.
Yes.
But even with, back to the issue of the permission slip that he had for these items, this is not something that's really unique to him, It's open to any inmate at the facility to apply and receive such permission.
Interesting. So he really hasn't been seeking any special treatment. He really hasn't gotten any special treatment.
Not as far as I'm aware.
But he's certainly gotten special attention in the media, both negative and positive. What's realistic? When is his next trial date? What is happening that day in court? What's being adjudicated during his next appearance? And when is it?
It's sometime in the middle of November. We have a trial date. If you recall, there are a number of other persons who are charged with him.
Right.
So I think that we are expecting that the case is going to start. But I can't speak for the other attorneys who are in the case representing the other co-accused. We're going to need an enormous amount of jurors to be there. So in essence, a number of stars really have to align before that case can get off the ground. I think it's probably about 6 or 7 persons who are charged.
We are on the line with Christian Tavares-Finson, attorney for Vybz Kartel, now being held in Jamaica in an adult correctional facility there on, how many more charges are left? 1, right?
That's the last one.
Yeah. So he's just being held on 1 charge, down from the initial 4?
Right.
Right. So as an attorney, you're doing your thing. So congratulations. And we certainly hope for better news about Kartel really soon. Do you think that his incarceration is a reflection on dancehall? And if it is, in what way do you think his incarceration has affected dancehall?
I mean, I have no doubt that he's very influential on the music scene. And, people do look up to him as a role model. But I think those questions would be better posed to him.
I got you. Well, you've been very generous and very forthcoming. I know some of this must be difficult for you because also music isn't so much your world as, court is, and representing your clients to the fullest. So maybe that was an unfair question, but you've been very, very generous. I won't put you on this spot. Is there anything else? Can I ask you, how is he? I mean, yes, we discussed how, I felt that the statement was a little bit an expression of a frustration, I guess, but that's just a perception off of paper. You actually are in better communication with him than most any of us. How is he doing?
We put a lot of work into the last case that we completed a couple of weeks ago. And in essence, what we really did is just transfer the energy from that case to this case. So we're working tirelessly in putting all the documents together and getting our house in order to be able to conduct that case when we go to court. So really, even though we have taken somewhat of a break, we are still working very hard to try and get ourselves together for that. So it's we're kind of keeping busy. I think he's keeping his mind on the case as well, which helps him.
Yes.
Where we are.
It's like a positive distraction, I would imagine.
Right.
Well, give him our best. Tell him his audience here on The Joint is pulling for him. I did get 1 negative email. All the rest of them have been positive as far as reacting to the conversation that we last had. So that's a pretty good record. One person that felt as if I shouldn't be speaking to you, that your client is just a straight criminal, and why glorify that?
I won't ask you what that email said.
We won't go into the details of it, but there's always one, as we say, in any, sociological thing, there's always one.
You have to have some balance.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time, and good luck to you with all your clients.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Christian Tavares-Finson, attorney for Vybz Kartel, otherwise known as a DJ Palmer. Bless, Christian.
All right. See you soon.
Yes.